For the things we love, we may overlook principles and boundaries. This is the time when seniors start looking for jobs. A fan asked me, should I do the work I love or pursue a good job in the conventional sense? When I applied for university, the most popular major was economics, but for a fool like me, who can't even balance the books, studying economics would be a disgrace. The key is I don't like it. From childhood to adulthood, my first consideration for anything I do is whether I like it or not, rather than whether it's useful. But this time, I applied for the major I like, literature. One day, I was reading the newspaper while sitting on the toilet. It said, "There is a force that brings tears to our eyes, the sunlight on your face, leaving warmth in our hearts." Damn, I really like that. I came out of the toilet with tears in my eyes, and a classmate asked me, "What's wrong? Does your butt hurt? Do you have hemorrhoids?" I said, "I want to join the newspaper." I interned at many newspapers. During my internship at newspaper A, the photojournalist and I almost got beaten up while interviewing a shelter. I exposed the dark side of the university and was threatened by the president when I interviewed him, saying I was too young and didn't understand the world. Nevertheless, I still wrote critical reports. My internship teacher thought I had the potential for this profession and recommended me to newspaper B. The most memorable experience during my internship at Newspaper B was when the head of the news department asked me to accompany him to a government meeting. It was such a boring meeting. Many journalists at the scene fell asleep. Only the head of the department was listening attentively, taking notes seriously. He was the only one who caught the passing information in the meeting. He chased after the relevant department for an interview for over 4 hours, and the other party went from impatience to anger, thinking we were being meddlesome. Anyway, the article was written, and the corresponding news was published on the front page the next day. Other newspapers only published government reports from the official standpoint, while Newspaper B stood on the side of the citizens. The so-called dedication means treating every small matter in your hands with sincerity. The so-called media means always standing in the position of the audience. These two attitudes have influenced me for many years. This is what my internship taught me. I learned so much during my 10 years at the newspaper. The best thing about them is their commitment to the enlightenment of civil society's values. Some say that enlightenment is a kind of departure, leading everyone to see a different possibility. Writing articles, books, and now scripts. What I've always wanted to do is to provide a different possibility for everyone, to let people look at themselves, others, society, and the world from a different perspective. This is what I like the most. I can derive a sense of value from it. In fact, I used to discriminate against hardworking people. I thought they were all fools. However, doing this job, I have met people who look silly but are actually very positive, and I was truly moved. When we do what we love, we can't help but be diligent. I want to talk about a person named Leo. He is 6 feet 3 inches tall, burly, and looks very fierce. Everyone is afraid of him when he glares. He used to be in the underworld. His hobby was writing novels. After he graduated from college, his parents forced him to take the right path and arranged for him to work at a bank. So, he became the nightmare of the service industry. Every day when he walked into the bank, his eyes and posture didn't look like he was going to work, but rather like he was going to rob the place. When someone came to deposit money, they would look at his appearance and wouldn't dare to take the money, only wanting to go home. He scared customers for several consecutive days. It is said that the business in the neighboring bank was getting better and better. The manager asked him to smile and serve customers. After he smiled and served, the bank was completely deserted. It's even scarier when a fierce-looking person tries to appear friendly. He was especially miserable at that time, and of course, his manager was even more miserable. He wanted to find time to write novels every day, but he couldn't because the manager kept watching him like a hawk. He decided to quit. He wanted to be a writer. He sent his resume to our team. When I interviewed him, my first question to him was, if we don't hire you, will you come back and shoot me? He said, no, so I hired him. Who the hell can guarantee that he was telling the truth? One big characteristic of our team is to bully the good and fear the bad. After Leo joined, everyone was afraid of him. Whenever he made any suggestions during discussions, everyone would applaud and say, "Great, great." Gradually, everyone found that his eyes became softer and his tone became gentler. Damn, he wasn't scary at all. So, when he made another suggestion during a meeting, if we thought it was not good, we would directly say, "What a load of crap! Go away." Once, the company needed to shoot a short drama intro, and someone had to wear a suit on top and underwear on the bottom, and go out for a run. I said, "Leo, you do it." He hesitated and said, "Oh, okay," when we were shooting. People laughed at him all the way. A woman looked at his strange attire and exclaimed, "What's wrong with society these days?" He turned his head, glared fiercely, and said, "What's wrong? What did you say?" I was afraid that he would get angry and hurt someone, so I asked him, "Are you okay?" He smiled gently and said, "I'm okay." At the company, he played a bald, a sissy, and a transvestite in short dramas. If the article was poorly written, I would scold him. He would apologize, saying, "I'm sorry. What about the underworld? What about catching and killing people?" He said that he had always wanted to write novels and make movies. When he was at the bank doing something he found uninteresting, he became increasingly hostile towards the world. He became a bit cynical. When he could finally write scripts every day and do what he loved, he said that the speed of his blood flow increased. He's in such a passionate state, everything else was just a fart. What does it matter if he is scolded? What does it matter if he loses face? Sometimes, in order to write a good article, I also need to seek advice from experts. I also need to humble myself, and I also feel a bit embarrassed. But thinking of Leo, the former underworld person, standing on the street in his underwear, I suddenly found the courage to lose face. There is also a very obedient girl named Nancy. She used to have the most normal job. Every morning when she took the subway, everyone on the subway looked lifeless, as if they had already been tired all day. Every time she would ask, "Why do we have to sit on the subway in pain every day and do a painful job?" She had also considered the idea of dreams but felt that the word dream was distant from her and something only rich kids could pursue. But she couldn't stand the atmosphere at the company where everyone was cutting corners and trying to take shortcuts. The work she did every day was worthless. She told her boss that she wanted to resign. The boss asked her to stay for one more month for a smooth handover. She was so happy and looking forward to that moment on Friday afternoon. Finally, on Friday afternoon, after taking a deep breath, her boss said, "Could you please work one more day?" She couldn't help but cry on the spot. She had to work another day. After she joined our team, she never cried again. She quickly turned into a pervert who wanted to work overtime every day. Once, I told her to go home early and not work overtime. The next day, she came to me and said, "Boss, is it because I haven't been performing well recently that I don't deserve to work overtime?" She inexplicably became the supervisor of me. Every time I wanted to slack off, she would reprimand me, "Boss, can you be more diligent?" What happened to being obedient? During a meeting with our team, it was already 1 a.m. And I said, "How about we finish here for today? We all need to work tomorrow at 9 a.m. She glared at me and said, "Let's discuss for another hour. If you're in a hurry, you can go home first." Damn, her eyes were so stern. How could I dare to go home? Can I ask who the boss is? Yes, that's what I experience every day. Because the workload in our team was too heavy, a male colleague fainted from exhaustion. He said it was okay and that he experienced what it's like to faint. It would make his future article about fainting more realistic. Because I was worried about everyone's health, I didn't allow anyone to work overtime on weekends. Everyone had to rest for a day every week. Then the cleaning lady told me that some people were secretly working overtime on weekends, and she wrote down their names. Many employees slept in the office to save time, making me feel embarrassed to go home, so I had no choice but to live in the office. Many of my friends say, "You've changed. Weren't you the one who claimed to live life to the fullest with all your might? Why are you becoming more hardworking and inspirational?" Damn, do you think I want to? It's all because of the pressure from the employees. It's not that my team is so good and so great. It's because when you do what you love, it will bring out the best in your human nature. You are willing to go beyond practicality, to overlook gains and losses, and to give everything. They are not defending this company or this team. They are defending what they love. So, no matter when you ask me, should I do what I love or pursue a good job in the conventional sense, I will always choose the former. Doing what you love, I can't guarantee your success, but I can guarantee your happiness. This kind of happiness comes from throwing yourself into it wholeheartedly and feeling the satisfaction of making progress every day. Some say choosing a lover determines the environment you sleep in every night. Choosing a career determines the state of mind you wake up with every minute. More than 1/3 of your life will be spent on your work. Why should you let this 1/3 of your life be filled with pain? Doing a so-called stable job. You can see your future clearly and know what you will be like 50 years from now. Doing what you love, you can't see a clear future because you don't know what you will be like in the future, and you are full of various possibilities. What's cooler than living in anticipation of the unknown?